Okay.
You good? You good?
I'm trying to find the.
It's coming through. I did. Yes, sir. I'm about to hit it in just a second. We good. All right. Share to my page. All right. All right. Here we go. Play that intro, baby.
Whatever happened to Am I my brother's keeper, huh? You know what happened to it.
It became my people's keeper. A moment of information, impartation, and inspiration to uplift, encourage, and most importantly, empower. So am I my brother's keeper? Yes. Am I my sister's keeper? Yes. Oh yes, I am my people's keeper.
Yeah. Y'all like my intro? You like my intro?
I do. I like that.
I did
That was
myself.
nice.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah, well
it.
done.
Thank you so much. Listen. This is another episode of My People's Keeper. Am I my sister's keeper? Yes, I am my sister's keeper. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am my brother's keeper. I am my people's keeper. This is yours truly, Will Robinson, better known as Will the Thrill, Will, Pastor Will, whatever you want to call me. That's what we do. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be back on with you all today. My lovely co-host is not here today. I don't know, I have to check her job description lately, but I want to shout out to my queen, Patrice. Love you so much, Shug. But definitely, we are so excited, man. I got some first-time guests.
Yeah.
I'm doing big things. I got guests in the room.
I mean, watch out.
Listen, I'm doing big things. I'm honored today to have these two wonderful people with me on today. Again, I'm gonna let them introduce you, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead right into it with this discussion today. So, ladies always first.
Yes, ladies first.
Let us know
Queen's
who
coming
you are.
through.
I want you to give the resume too. Come on,
Oh,
because you know you somebody.
I
You
am somebody. My grandmother
You
told me that a long time ago.
I know. Big Mama tell them girls now.
That's right. She told me I was the cat's meow.
Oh,
I don't know what that meant,
yo, but come on.
but she came through with it. I believe that still.
You can get it now, right? You understand?
Yes. So I'm G. I am a counselor, coach. I worked across the Southeast, helping young people kind of navigate their path. I've coached and motivated all different sports, basketball, cheer, track,
Wow.
you name it. I could probably motivate them to do it.
Come
I
on.
think one of the things about coaching is you can kind of get people to believe in you, they believe in their mission, and then they're able to do things they probably weren't even able to fathom that they could possibly do. So I believe that coaching has a way to infiltrate the space in young people, their hearts,
Right.
sports, athleticism, athletics. It transfers into academics and into success from that way. So that is me. I am G. I'm glad to be here.
G. Coach G.
That's
Thank
me.
you so much.
No
Come on.
problem.
That's big stuff right there. Jesus, how's she gonna set you up like that? Ain't
She
how-
set me up.
Come on.
I'm gonna make
No.
it real simple.
Come on.
My name is Darrell Gaskins. They call me Holla.
Holla.
I like Holla.
CEO
Yeah.
of the Mighty Bucks Collection.
The Mighty Bucks collection.
That's all I'm gonna say because I cannot compete with that.
No.
Oh,
That's
I
big
mean-
stuff. That's
I can't
when you
compete with that.
when you got
Okay.
collection on the end of your business title. Come on, that's big stuff.
That's a collection.
Come on, that's a collection.
I don't
Right,
have
you're
that.
right,
That's one of a kind. You
There you
understand?
go. We love it. I'm here for it.
So man, Holla is in the building. Thank y'all so much, Coach G.
Yes.
We thank you so much again for being with us. Again, our show is to give inspiration and definitely impartation and definitely information as well.
Right.
So that definitely this can help our people to be uplifted, empowered, and encouraged to become better. Our thing is to make sure that we share information, but also expose others to other people that are doing great things
Yep.
out there that don't know what's going on, because we want to make sure that we focus on the positive. Definitely, we can bring up the negative and talk about it, but my thing is to make sure we focus on who is already doing something in our community to
Right.
help build our young people, our old people, middle-aged people, whoever
Right.
it may be. And so that's what we're here to do. Listen, we're getting ready to do this thing today.
Let's
Come
do
on,
it.
man. Listen. So definitely if you see the title is talking about what do we face within generations as relates to curses or generational curses, some people would say.
Yeah.
Some of the biases that we have to deal with, we fight with. And so there's a lot of different things that we can talk about, a lot of different things that we can pull from. And our thing is to try to see what we can do to kind of help this. Again, I met Coach G several months ago. Was very, very impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Just by a conversation on another show
Yeah.
that we did on a panel discussion. And she was just sharing about what she do as a coach and how she coached, and just talking about some of the things that she had to deal with, which kind of just made my antennas go up. Again, I'm originally from Hartsville, South Carolina, and definitely just knowing where I grew up at and the culture there in the PD area, the Darlington County area, however, cases, it's still intriguing to kind of hear some of the things that still take place.
Right.
And so we just kind of want to talk about that. And so today I was listening to some of the comments and a lot of things that were going on around Simone Biles.
Mhm.
And her decision, but the first thing that took place, not more so her decision to step back, but what took place as relates to them saying that pretty much they weren't going to score her because, I guess, of her ability to do some of the things.
Oh, yeah. It's just too good.
Too good to be true, right?
I mean, and what does that even mean?
That's a good question. What does that mean? And so when someone gives a statement or make a statement or or says something that's supposed to make sense and it don't make sense, then your
antennas raised.
They start rising.
Yes, sir.
Again, as always, we have great people around us that definitely we could talk about facts, but we also talk about reality and how to deal with reality. Again, is it a race issue?
Oh, I mean, it's a loaded issue.
It's a loaded.
I mean, and I can speak about this from a variety of different things,
Absolutely.
different ways. And that's for me as someone who is a Black woman, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Last I checked.
That's right.
I kind of viewed it differently. From the beginning, I kind of was like, well, what is actually Simone competing for, right? We're competing for a country that doesn't support us anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
So to me, so it's already been established. She's the best gymnast in the world.
Right.
She's the best female gymnast the world has seen. The things that she does are actually viewed as dangerous and could be catastrophic to someone else. Like that was listed by the International Gymnastics Committee, that the things that she does, if someone else attempts them, they will not score them the way that they deserve to be scored, because it could be catastrophic if someone else were to even attempt them. That means practice to try to get as good as she is. They're afraid that if someone even tried to do it, they could not do it. Yet they want her to come out here to Tokyo.
Come on.
For a country that wouldn't stand up and fight and say, no. This person has done all these different things. That's like, I was reading something that was like, of Tom Brady, he said, well, you can't win any more Super Bowls because you just win too many.
Right. Has that, I like, that's
so no one says Tom Brady can't
that's
continue.
Okay,
no, you can't complete any more passes because you've completed enough now.
Wow.
You've won enough Super Bowls now. You need to retire now. And so as a woman, as a Black woman, who's oftentimes been pushed into corners because, okay, well, you've intimidated everyone here in the space, and we don't, if you would just calm down. I'm not worked up. When I say things, I'm not worked up. I'm just, maybe I'm just actually stating a fact.
That is a true fact.
And so I think for Simone Biles, when this started happening, and this has been months, of this. So the USA Gymnastics knew they weren't going to score her. International Gymnastics Committee knew they weren't going to score her. So they knew these things in advance, and there was nobody who stepped out and said, no, our athlete needs to be scored fairly.
So now again, so when we look at this and we're talking about from the woman's point of view now, and I'm gonna say this, and when I mean this is because of the level of respect of Black women that I have surrounded myself. God has placed me with. Number one, my mama, which I came through her womb.
Right.
My grandmothers, I have cousins, I have sisters, family, like all that are strong women. So to be honest, Hollow, when I say this, I never really seen, and I can't, again, when I'm not a woman or when I'm not a Black woman, I can't see because I'm looking at the Black woman in front of me, the strong Black woman, the intelligent Black woman, the woman that can do pretty much anything, possible to make me feel secure as a son, as a man, as a husband, whatever the case is. And so sometimes when I see my Black women share statements like that, it's hard for me to really kind of say, to kind of, I'm not saying accept it. I know it's there, but I'm just like, do you know who you are? Like,
Right.
I know who you are. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
They may not see you, but I see you.
And then who are we? I mean, but at the end of the day, who has to evaluate us? Who decides or determines where we are if we're not strong enough in that sense? And so, I think Simone, I'm not sure where it hit. Right, when she decided to pull out, she said she was lost in the air. Okay, so her moves are very dangerous. So you can't be lost in the air. That means you cannot have a mental disconnection between your body and your mind because you could kill yourself. The things that she does, like I said, it's already been listed. The things that she does could be catastrophic. If someone else does it, that means they could hurt themselves or injure themselves, paralyze themselves if they try that. So she knew, she was aware with herself. Like she's already mentioned before that she'd done therapy. She was a part of the sexual abuse thing with the USA Gymnastics years ago. So she's gotten through that. She won world with broken toes. She's done these things. And so for her to do that vault, she didn't even attempt the 2.5. She knew her body. She just, again, she came down and she said, disconnected from the mind. Right. So that self-awareness kept her safe.
Right.
And so that's something a lot of us don't have. A lot of us end up pushing ourselves to a brink of, you see depression, you're seeing a lot more anxiety. In Black women, you're seeing a lot of it more diagnosed, of course. I mean, it was always there. Our moms, our grandmas experienced all these different things. And now it's just, we're talking about it,
coming to the forefront.
Right.
With it.
And that's where we are. And I think she's used her platform to do something that probably needed to be done.
So do you think anyone has attempted to try to do what she has done?
I think they're afraid. I think one girl said that she tried it. One girl said she tried something and she couldn't do it. But the things that she's done, she has 4 moves named after her. That means, so we're not talking about one. People usually like retire with 1.
Right.
4 that nobody else can do.
I believe they tried. They just couldn't do it. Oh, they tried.
Yeah, they definitely tried. I agree with you. They definitely tried.
I would like to have an interview with her. How many times did she attempt to do what she has successfully been able to do?
Hundreds.
I'm sure she would say hundreds of times where she's probably fallen. But she's got faith in her skill set and her ability, and that's the difference.
Do you hear that? She got faith in her skill set and her ability.
Yeah.
So those that are listening, those that are watching, do you hear what Sister Coach G just said? She's done it. She's fallen many times.
Oh, absolutely,
hundreds of times, but she had faith in her skill set and her ability.
And she had the right people around her, right?
I knew you were scheduled to preach today. I didn't know you was coming on.
But I'm saying, those people aren't there. So that's something they talked about too, the difference in your family's not being able to be there. So I'm not sure if people who raised her would have been in Tokyo would she have felt like she needed to sit out both of them, right? She might have been able to recover in a way, go to your family and be like, I need this time with my people, because these people they built her a gym. They got the other little girls on the team to move from Vancouver, Washington to Texas to train with her.
Right.
And that little girl stepped up. So we don't know if Sister Bow stepped out so she could step up.
Come on.
But it's got to happen in that way sometimes.
Right.
Those little girls don't get a chance. She knows that those women of color do not get an opportunity to shine in that way. The little girl, Sinisa Lee, won the all around. She would not have won if Simone Biles was competing, because they're always second to Simone Biles. And she already knows that. She knows that she's going to be in every all around competition. And we're just looking for one more space.
Wow.
So she stepped out so somebody could step up.
And so again, to some, so some of us will be like, well, you still got more. You can still got more in you. You still got more opportunities to do, to keep what you got going on.
Right.
But I think that is a great move, a big move, just pretty much how you explain that, to say, hey, you know what? Let me, matter of fact, I'll use one example. Some people would have thought that Barry Sanders, I don't know if you guys remember Barry Sanders, the great running back from the Detroit Lions. when he retired, everybody, even myself was like, what are you doing? You haven't even won a Super Bowl yet. You can do this. But again, we also talk about, time and knowing when. Again, in that sense, it helps those coming before us. It helps those around us to be able to be successful and to succeed as well, and to be able to stretch, out in their ability and their skill set.
Right.
So I think that's something really, really, really great to say. Holly, you wanted to add something on that?
I'm like, this subject is new to me. Like, it's real fresh to me, and I'm just hearing about it today.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm really just hearing about it today. Like,
Right.
I'll be doing so much. But
Gotcha.
from the information I gathered, I take it two ways. And the two ways I see it is like, if it was a man, I don't feel like they would have switched it. So that's one. That's one way I see it.
Come on, sir.
Also, with her being black. So I see where it could be race, gender related. And also I feel like it's race related, but I also feel like this was a time for women to stand up for women.
I'm telling you, listen, I've been saying this for the
I
last.
feel like this was the time women were supposed to stand, like all them other gymnastics who competed, they know they couldn't beat her, but they took the easy way out by still competing. Instead of everybody boycotting and saying, no, she's been doing this. So if she's been doing this, let us get a fair chance of facing her. So if I'm a win, let me win the right way.
Wow.
Not just win by you taking her out so I can get first place, second place. Because if she was here, I would have been second. I would have been third. So it's so many different ways from the information I gather.
Right.
I can take that. So it's like, I see where it's race related, and I also see where it's gender
related. So
it's.
I think you got a good point. I find it. I was going to say, and I agree. I try not to. I think when we think about being Black women, right? I try not to be. I think it's difficult as I've gotten older. So I used to be, I worked in, I coached basketball, right?
Okay.
I was very successful coaching basketball. And I, coaching the state championship. And
she's somebody, boy.
Just but when I say,
am.
I'm not just saying that. When I say I was successful coaching basketball, I was in a male-dominated profession. So there were things I experienced that I had not experienced. I coach cheer. I don't experience these things.
Okay, got you.
You know what I'm saying? Now I coach cheer. Nobody bothers me. I'm supposed to coach cheer, right? But when I'm out coaching basketball, the referees would say crazy things, or people in the stands would say crazy things. I'm going to huddle before the game, and the rep is like, "Coach, you understand the rules?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think did y'all change them." I'm like, did something happen? Did I miss something? But I didn't. But that's just how it was perceived. Because as a feminine woman, I'm a girl's girl. I'm dresses. I'm coaching in heels. This is me. I don't like to wear sneakers. I'm not playing. That's just me.
Now, are you the one of those pretty girls that wear 20 per? Oh?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, I got you.
But I say that to say I experienced some things in sport that were gender related, and I think the expectation is that okay, so do you I know I didn't play in college. How are we successful? Well, I can motivate.
Right.
I here's why you go to this space to get open, because here you can get in the space, and your 6 rebounds are oftentimes really important, and almost as important as those 16 points that she got and didn't get rebounds to get back on defense. But that's a part of it, right? And so I can have those conversations, and then I can have the conversations about this with Simone Biles, right? Because I'm feeling it, because I heard a lot of ignorant conversations happening about this, and it's like she knew what she signed up for, right? Well, maybe she was trying to give them a chance the first time, right? When they competed at Sunday, I think,
right?
Maybe to think that maybe they'll score what I deserve to be scored. Maybe she gave them a chance, because you know how we do as Black women. It's like, let me see what they're talking about. Let me go see
what's going on.
They said they wasn't, but now they can't just have me out here flipping around and nobody can do it, and I am. What am I, sick?
Come on.
What?
And I've been working. How long I've been working on this?
But you already know this,
right?
And so I think when she was out there to do that vault, I think she just think people are missing. That was the very first thing she did. So she was already second guessing it before. she probably was thinking, well, maybe I'll just get through it because, you know, I've been
Already
doing
got
this.
the
I already
push,
know.
yeah.
Let me just do it because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. When can we stop doing what people expect us to do? And what are you doing it for?
Ooh, come on.
Because there's nothing she was going to win. This gold was not going to tell her she was the best gymnast. She already knows she's the best gymnast.
Let's go ahead.
So
How
sitting
we gonna
out,
do this?
people are acting like, I mean, they're like, oh my God, she's letting the country down. This country?
Come on,
This
you
country this country who did what? What is this country? Holla.
Holla at us.
What's this
holla.
What's this country done for you that you feel like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go out here and risk my life.
It just like a reminiscent moment just now. Like listening to what you just said just now, and me, this is all fresh to me. So it's not
Right.
like I had a time to think before. I didn't have time to think, but
Me either. I just talk too
She-
much.
No,
honestly, no. You did
Help me.
exactly. You helped me, but she just became the female Kaepernick to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now her purpose isn't the gold. She knows she's the best. You don't need that medal to tell you you're the best.
Yeah.
Now use your purpose and stand for something now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Kaepernick did in a different way. Even though we know he wasn't the best quarterback, but he was the bravest
Yes.
person to do that.
Right.
Now it's time for her to be brave.
And then our people couldn't even stand behind him for him to do that.
I honestly, I'm gonna be
Where my
honest with
people
you.
at?
Okay.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you, and because
Yeah.
I study that, our people stood behind him.
Mm-hmm.
He had opportunities to come back. Now it was on him
To come back and do what?
to play. He got offered contract.
It's not about him playing though. To me, I didn't look at when I say that they didn't stand behind him, I'm not talking about him playing because he got offered a
Message.
contract. I'm talking
No,
about
people stood behind the message.
people did. But then how many people? Okay, so this is what I'm saying. If what he was doing, if all of us say, you know what, this Sunday we are not playing. We're not playing.
I see that.
You see, that's what I mean. I don't mean I don't mean he wasn't getting contracts because they
Yes,
had
to the
Okay,
thing.
okay.
they had
Okay,
to.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going so my thing is with Simone. You know, there was a figure skater years and years ago when I was like a little girl who I was reading a little bit about. I can't remember her name. I'll look it up. She tried to do a back flip. It's a black female. She tried to do a back flip on her ice skates, right?
Mhm.
And she landed on one foot. Well, at that particular time, that was too dangerous for certain people to try. They didn't score her either. They didn't want to give her the points for that either. So
So this ain't new.
our
Okay.
bravery.
That's where I just
Yes, right. So our
That's what I
bravery,
just got
our
out of that. I
strength,
just got
our
that out of
ability
that.
to entertain you. For what?
So this was a female.
Yeah, she was a female.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a female. So I
That
think
was new information.
yeah. So that's just something that I went down like you know how you go to down a rabbit hole like
Yeah.
you either
Okay.
can't go to sleep or you just swiping. And I was like, that is right. I remember that. But she used to do a backflip on her figure skates, on ice skates, and land on one foot.
I remember. I don't.
I remember her name. I
but
can't.
remember.
I'll find it though because she did that, and that was years and years and years ago, and they did not score her on that because they thought it was too dangerous, right, for other people to try. So my thing was, if Simone said, "You know, I'm not going to Tokyo," those little girls that look up to her, they may not have gone either, right? Because they would have gone, but it wouldn't have been the same vigor that they have, right? She pulled out, and they fought through to win the silver. Yeah, they would have probably won the gold if she was there, right? Perhaps. Or what Simone, I think, also feared was that because she had so many haters and these judges were judging her so tightly, what if the U.S. didn't get a silver? Or she had a bad meet and they penalized her to the point where they don't medal. You see what I'm saying? Because they were really, the scrutiny of her stuff was starting to get really, really tight. And they know that I think something she did Sunday, she flipped out off the mat, came back, and still should, technically scored higher than everybody else because her difficulty should be at a certain level.
Right.
Nobody else's routine can fly off you can't step out of bounds because you lose like 0.3 tenths or something like that. So
Once.
yeah, so you can't do that. Her difficulty is so high. She flew off the mat, came back, finished her routine, and still was higher. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why they know that they can't beat her anyway.
I was thinking about this, and again, that goes back to we start talking about the points of views when we you know, what is it? There's so many dynamics to it. Again, when we do bring up race, some people get offended by it because, again, you know, I understand that there's some people that don't see quote unquote color. I get it.
Oh, of course.
And again, you know, in the sight of God, we're all brown, black, blue, yellow,
That's right.
all that. In the sight of God, we are equal, right? But in the system of this world that we live in, we are divided.
Right.
And that's always the context of what we have to battle with and deal with. And again, so when you're not on the side of black, then then sometimes you wouldn't be able to understand it. So it's hard, you know, for us to continue to maneuver, you know what I'm saying, through life for that equal opportunity in a system that's divided, that constantly divides us with that controversy. I was looking at a movie and I heard, and I just probably last week or so, the Jesse Owens biopic, the movie about Jesse Owens.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? And so he went to the Olympics during the time when Hitler, I believe, was in reign, or however the case was. And when they got there, watching the movie, you know, listening to it and all, you know, the German that he was going up against doing the long jump. And so Jesse, you know, he stepped on the line. So they just, you know, pretty much he lost the point. And so the German stepped up and put a towel in front of the white line, say, hey, now try again. Okay, this is just competition. Other people are looking at it, you know, in another light. This is country, this is color. This is about, you know, systemic racism, whatever the case is. But he did that to help. And so they didn't want a video. So you had a woman that was videoing the Olympics at that time. Right. And so they wanted to shut down from when they was getting ready to do the final competition. So they didn't want her to video. And she stood her ground, stood up and said, I'm going to video this because the world has to see this. Him and the guy end up having a sit down conversation, Jesse Owens and another guy. And he pretty much was talking about pretty much the systematic racism and the socialism that they have to deal with, you know, concerning this. Why do we do this? Why? And it wasn't that I stepped back or I let up. No, I saw the greatness in you. I knew you were better than me. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted them to see something different. Well, after winning those 3-4 gold medals. Right. And again, in one of them, they didn't want 2 Jews that was with them, that was Americans, to actually race. And they wanted to replace him with them. And he said, I'm having to deal with already the systematic racism that I deal with. Yeah. But now I'm talking about, this is how we do. My people, I'm going to step up for somebody else and say, no, they deserve to run. I've never ran in their competition. That's what they're here for. Right. So if they don't run, I'm not going to run.
That's my point exactly. Of the females. See how this was men, and see what a lot of people who don't study history, they just go off of what school tells you. They think only African Americans were slaves.
Brian, you hear that, Brian? Go ahead.
You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of people think African Americans was just slaves. Like you got Hitler they captured people. Japan captured people. Chinese, like they've been enslaved too. Right. So it's not just African Americans. So that's where, yes, I get the race card, but that was more of a gender role because you see how men with Jesse Owens, they stood up for each other. Women feel like they don't always have to stand up for each other because they it's like a crab in a barrel mentality.
So you think
it's like a crab in a barrel mentality? They all knew she was, but they all wanted her out.
So you think the women? You think women have the crab?
Everybody have it, not just women. But I'm talking about. But a lot of women are so used to being protected.
Which women?
What's her name again? To make sure I'm right.
Simone.
She looked it for somebody else to protect her in this situation, even though she stood her ground and she backed out of the situation. These other women wanted to take her spot.
And I think you got a different, okay, so I hear what you're saying.
I want you to get a chance to go back and look at some of the. some of the interviews and some.
And, see, and hold on, and before I go, I'm going off of what y'all saying.
Right.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I know.
Also
And
going
so,
off of what y'all saying.
I so what I will say to this is, you know, I get that because women are less likely to step up in this space. But as a Black woman, I don't feel protected by anybody.
No.
No. So what I'm saying is, I think Simone,
I definitely get that.
I think Simone's, I hear what you're saying in terms of stepping up, but we're not going to get that kind of protection from anybody else but us, right? And so those girls, like I said, you know, she had a young girl come, another Black girl that almost retired from gymnastics, Jordan Childs, that came to live with her family and to train in Texas. There's a girl that is Asian. She's Hmong, Suni Lee, that ended up winning.
Yeah.
That's the one I seen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she just won gold. And then there was one white girl, right? And in the world of gymnastics that's so well respected, I think they know they can't. In gymnastics, it's just an individual sport. Like it's if you just don't have it, you don't have it. I think that people were hoping that she did well, so she would retire, so then they could get a chance. So I understand what you're saying in terms of it's such a competitive situation that the women aren't going to pull out to do this. But I think you're not going to get that kind of support where you might get, like you mentioned, there was a Jewish guy and there was all these different people who kind of stood up in the space. You're not going to get the Russians to come out and say anything in support of Simone because they're all over it. The Chinese gymnastics team, they over it. They can't beat her. They want her out. And not only that,
I think
she's also Black.
Too. I think we said the same thing in a different way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm trying to reinforce that because I want you to. So as you continue to research and learn a bit more about the situation, they want her out because she's already beat them at the World Championship last year. So that's why I was like, and you know, I had,
we said the same thing.
You know, so it's like, I mean, they already beat her, so there was nothing. They cannot
can't beat her.
Beat her. So why? So just imagine being up in the air. So she did her vault yesterday morning, which is when we saw it, but day before yesterday. And she said that she got lost in the air. They call something called the twisties, which just means you're like disconnected from your body. So you lose where you're going to land. I never go that high to where I lose them, where my feet are. So but she's turning in the air. And she said she was disconnected from her mind because her mind is now thinking about something else and she got to land. The stuff she does is so difficult. You can't be disconnected. It's like your heart don't need to be disconnected from your mind either. But when it is,
she does land.
She does land. She kind of slipped, but she didn't do the most difficult thing she knows how to do. When she got up from that, so she pulled back because she wasn't sure.
Right.
And then I think that's when she was like, you know what? I can't do this. And then why am I doing it? Like you said, there's nobody here who really wants me to win anyway. There's nobody here who really wants me to win. My family is in Texas.
Right. I'm here, but I'm
out here by myself. I'm the oldest of these three girls that are on the team. So let them get some burn. Just like, you know, it's just like if you're doing something else.
Right.
Let them get a chance.
Let them get it.
You know, and they got it. And then they interviewed her with the team, and she did say, you know, I didn't help them. They did it themselves. Really saying, because that's who's going to be the future of it.
She knew.
So as Black women, I think we're always having the forethought on a lot of these issues where we have to do some of those things. And that's just who we are. I think because we carry a lot of situations. We've raised white children. We raised Black men. We marry Black men. We support them. We're in their corner. We do all these different things. We run offices. We're doctors and lawyers. And we always are the people who are expected to just do it. Because why wouldn't you? Because, you know, everybody's like, oh, why would she do that? She knew she was going to be competing in the Olympics. This is for our country. What country?
So let me ask you.
That's what I was getting at.
What country?
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get on that. Then, kind of I guess after that, I want to come back to one key point that you said, and I want to know. I want to talk about what are those things that you feel like that you're not protected from.
Okay.
Then I want to talk about what we need to do in order to make our Black women feel protected.
Okay.
But fighting for what country?
What country? I hate when I say that because I really, you know, I like living here.
Yeah.
You know,
and because
I'm just saying, like,
man, you're proud to be an American. Listen,
sure.
And that going back to that pic, that biopic with Jesse Owens, after he won those 4 gold medals with his white coach, with him, his family trusting, praying to God that he'll be all right, that he will not only be all right, but he will be successful and win. And he did. He comes back to America, does not get a chance to even visit the White House because they're not going to receive him because of who he is, not more so his name or what he just did, but because of the color of his skin. And then several months or a couple of years after that, they decide to honor him and have a banquet for him with his wife. I'm talking about an all spread, nice dining at this nice big facility, beautiful with, cars. You got the people come on, serve, take your bags and all this. And when they approach the door, the door hop guy says, I'm unfortunately, they're going to have to go through
That door.
the other door, which leads to the kitchen. The coach, the white coach, what, are you out of your mind? Do you know who he is? Mr. Owens, I do know who you are, but unfortunately, the rules are.
The rules are the rules.
Now, again, even though these rules are not in place, there's still an established mindset
Yes.
for certain people. So I said, so again, what country?
Well, I think about, I was reading some of the comments about Naomi Osaka and some of our people and Black people feeling like, oh my God, she turned it on. She want to go compete for Japan. Okay, this little girl's been competing for Japan since she was 12. She's always competed under the Japanese flag. Always. When she was in the U.S., when she won in 2018, they said no, Naomi Osaka from Japan. But we don't know nothing like that because we always just get on Facebook and get all Twitter fingery and do it all bunch of crazy stuff. But when I say
Research.
that, it's like, are we a little bit jealous that she know what country she can compete for? Because I don't know what country I could compete for. If I could go back to where
This woman here, come on in the room.
I'm just saying, if I could go back and figure it out, maybe I would want to compete. Maybe
Compete for the Haitians.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But we don't have that luxury as African Americans, and many of us, unless you could do the diversity little thing, send your blood off and get your little DNA thing. Yeah, then it tells you a little bit European and a little bit African, West African. I don't know. You can't. I don't know.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems, and I was guilty of this up until a couple years ago. It starts with us, like you said, our skin tone, our nationalities, and it starts with application. It might sound crazy, but you just said it.
Right.
I am not African American.
Yeah.
I am a Black American. Point blank, period. I am a Black American. When I go to do my ancestry, my ancestors didn't come from Africa.
Right.
So how am I African American if my ancestors did not come from Africa?
But you got to know that.
That's what I'm saying, and that's one of our problems of researching.
So have you done ancestry.com? So
European,
I've gone
it's like we mutts. My grandfather's name was Mutt.
Yeah.
I am a mutt.
Well, I mean, I think that's a big part of the concern. So when you get to a certain point, you kind of fall off. So our information doesn't go way back. So I was having this conversation with one of my colleagues about ancestry.com and how far we can go back, right? So mine falls off around 1840 something, right? I don't know who, because I don't know where they came from. You know what I'm saying? My mama's family was a little bit more, had a little bit more our fair skinned brothers and sisters up in there, and then my dad's family, I mean, I don't know. So the reality of it is, are we a little bit jealous of those like Naomi Osaka who can say, I'm competing because my mother is Japanese? I don't know. We are just out here. And that's a part of our struggle, I think, as our people, as African Americans, as Black Americans.
That's why it's such a struggle.
We don't have an identity. And so we create things, right? And so we become the blueprint for other people. So we become the blueprint for the Kardashians. But if Simone Biles could compete for fill in the blank country, right?
Right.
Oh, they would have been canceled her.
Jamaica.
Just imagine if she was you. And the thing is, we don't know.
We don't know.
And that's where I have friends I went to college with. They can be like, oh well, so and so is Polish, or my people are Scottish, or we are Italian. I mean,
Right.
I'm like, I'm just out here as an American. Congratulations,
Unless
you don't get the prize.
all right. Unless you have the great opportunity to be Alex Haley.
Mhm.
Roots.
Right. So he's got his. Okay, now what did yours say?
Wales, Ireland, Spain, Senegal, Norway, Ivory Coast, and Ghana. Like, here goes some of the Africa.
Okay, go.
Oh yeah, but you see 37% Nigerian.
Nah, this right here was actually my cousin.
Oh, that's your
That-
cousin.
That was
Oh.
the first one I did right here. But this right here was because of her mother.
That's right.
Her mother was Afro Jamaican.
Afro Jamaican.
You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, so it's
Yeah.
like this is hers. I got to go back and look at mine.
Yeah.
But it's just showing how they break it down.
Yep.
And
And-
when they break it down.
So what's the biggest percentage?
The biggest percentage for her was Nigeria, but her mother is Jamaican.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like, her mother is Jamaican,
Yeah.
and her mother have the African traits from her mother.
Her mother.
But her mother wasn't related to me. I'm related to her from her father.
Yeah.
Who was Wales, Spain, Senegal, and we had some European traits. But I have to find mine.
Yeah, because
Okay.
see, I didn't. And so those things actually come from
Like,
people's
it's crazy.
samples, right? So you got to have the samples. So that's another thing. So I was doing some research. I'm like, well, how do you know? They go to West Africa and they get certain samples from certain countries, right?
Mhm.
They don't have all of the samples. You're from different places. That's why they say that you got 23andMe or something like that. There's another
Mhm.
one that you can do too. I haven't done it because, I mean,
I'm just out here.
well, and
Just-
it's true.
Right.
But so many of us are just out here, right? And so we don't have the pride that we might have in something, So the pride of being an American after like George Floyd or after,
Mm,
I mean, there were several before that, right?
yes.
When I think about Breonna Taylor,
Many,
and I think
many,
about
many
those
It was many more.
people before that, the pride of being an American. Where is that? When you think about January 6th, when you think about these different things, and then you think about a Simone Biles, I mean, she's up here risking her life to compete for, here, let me just take a picture with all my medals. You already know I'm the best one. You can go to the judges. They'll tell you I'm the best one. You can go to anybody who's competing in any language you ask them. They'll say Simone Biles is the best gymnast that's here.
Mm.
I can just stand on the sidelines in a warm up.
Right.
I see it.
Congratulations. Thank you to me. Let me coach these girls up. Let me get my mind right. Let me coach these girls up. Let me make history by doing something that no one will do.
Mm,
People won't do it.
because they're expected to do something. They're expected to do
For what? Say after those people spray painted LeBron James's house, he said, "You know what? I'm good." Do you
Coach
think?
G, come
you
on.
see what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, so what if he did say that?
What?
Does George Floyd get killed?
Mm,
Does it bring to the light some things early enough?
hmm
I don't know. I mean, that guy could have found George Floyd. He was obviously messed up. I'm using that as an example because there's so many different things that people have the power to do, and we won't do it. And I find that Black women oftentimes are the catalyst for these changes.
That's basically where I was at with it.
Come on, Otto.
That's basically where I was at with it. How she said Black women are the catalyst to these situations. So basically, like, helping change a lot.
Me Too movement, Black woman,
Like, I believe it.
and we don't always get the support that we. Like when you said, "How can you support
Right.
us?"
Men need to support women more.
We don't get that support. So if
They
I
don't.
go up to, if
I
you're my
agree.
boss, if you like research shows that if a Black woman is more likely to get a promotion or a raise or be paid what she might be worth, you know who gives it to her? If you had to guess,
A man.
who?
White man.
White man.
Yeah.
That's who's going to make sure we
Black-
get. A Black man's not going to do it. He's not going to see. He can.
Because of the.
He's
because
not
of
going
the
to extend.
stigma.
He's not going to extend himself to make
now,
sure I
And
get
that's
the
not all
raise.
of them.
That's not
but
all of them.
But
Now,
again,
and I agree. I promise you. We literally had this debate yesterday.
Mhm.
And when I'm telling you, you're 100% right about some men.
mhm,
A lot of that problem is back to the women. And I say this to say what? I had a conversation yesterday where women still believe men supposed to pay 100% of the bills.
I think it just depends on where you are.
But no, that just comes to where, like, women want equal amount of money, more money, but they still feel the man's supposed to pay everything.
I think. I mean, I can see where you're getting that from.
You
I don't think that has
like-
anything to do with.
And it's more so of the mind state. It's more so of the mind state to where, like, I honestly, I feel I can already tell you your words is more valuable than what I'm gonna say. You deserve to get more money than me when it comes to speaking.
Okay.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you that just by this right here.
right.
I'm not a public speaker.
Mhm.
So when it comes to public speaking, you deserve to be getting more than me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some men be like, nah. nah, give me this. But then you got some women who know this and they be like, yeah, I got paid $10,000 more than him on a salary, but that's my man, so he need to pay all the bills.
I see. I think you're going down a different street.
Now I'm about to get in a roll with it.
Okay, get in the road with it. I
now,
feel
now,
you.
now I'm gonna get in a roll with it. It's more so of what's that saying? A lot of people want they
Cake.
Kathy,
cake and eat it too.
you know what I found out? It's not cake.
It was something else. It's something
It's
else.
actually Kathy and Edith too.
People want they what?
But you want Kathy and Edith too?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like
I can see that.
it's sad because women like that too now.
Mm.
Women like that too.
They want Kevin and they want
And they want Jacob too.
Oh.
But now I'm saying this.
That's
See how y'all are going all over the place.
No. We stay in the same place. It's like I agree. Women deserve what they're worth.
Yep.
Point blank. Period. There's no need to discriminate. That's discrimination.
right.
That's discrimination. Women, if they go to school the same way you go to school, they can do exactly what you're doing. If your salary $10,000, their salary need to be $10,000. Point blank.
One of the things, I guess I'll say a mentor of mine, he used to say this, and I thought it was just weird how he would say it. He said, son, let me tell you something. I want to hear his accent. Let me stop. He said, and hear me when I say this, Coach G. He said the only people that are free in this world, as he would say, in this white man's world, he said, is the white man and the black woman. I said, what you mean? He said, the white man is free already because he owns everything. He said, but he wants the black woman, so he'll give her everything. He only has and I mean, I don't know what kind of ratings we may get after this. It's cool. But I'm just saying this is what somebody shared with me.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're just there for, the mountain-piece. And they don't want the black man at all because they want to take him. You understand? They don't want him to ever to get to where they are. So we're dealing with a stigma or a generational curse, as we've been talking about,
Okay.
that we've been battling with from many decades before us. And we're still not, because again, we're having the discussion about mental health. So you got to look at where mental health comes from. It comes from trauma. All the trauma that we've had to deal with, black women had to deal with. So imagine this, when we look at the Willie Lynch syndrome and we read that letter and he gives the description of how to tame a nigger. He says, what I'm going to do is this is how you tame them. Number one, you make sure that the key is to get the black woman because that's the one you want. Number one, but also you got to key her because you got to get her mind. So whoever she's with, whoever her husband is, I'm going to put him before her. And what we're going to start doing is we're going to either take him away from her. Matter of fact, let's do this first. We're going to traumatize her. I'm going to demasculate him in front of her while she's watching. I'm going to make her watch because she ain't going to be able to do nothing. He ain't going to be able to do nothing while I'm grabbing her, while I'm holding her.
Rape her. Yeah, you're right. There you go.
So let me get in her head first. So then I'm going to take him away, sell him off, either kill him or sell him off somewhere else. So now I got these children.
Mm-hmm.
And now the only thing that I got to a black man, I got to try to protect it. I got to protect this boy, this son of mine. Don't you look up when he say, you just say yeah and keep your head. Don't you say nothing. Don't you speak. Don't you talk. Be quiet. So then now he comes up to become a man, and now he got to try to talk to a woman that he don't know how to talk to.
That's right.
Because their protection of him was, you keep your head down, you be silent. But the girl, now I gotta raise you. show you how to maintain this, so you can get through too. One of the shows I like, they took off the air, Underground. Is that right?
Yeah,
you remember
back that? Yeah, they didn't make it.
They cut it off. They stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
But the images that messed me up were the time, and not saying messed me up, but I was just like, wow, how the mother, the house Negro, the mother, she was with the master. And late at night, they would go in the dungeon and do whatever. And based upon the time of them having sexual relations, or whatever the case was, that's how she was able to get what she wanted. And talk at that time. It's all good.
I was like, what?
So, but again, trauma, mental illness.
Well, I think a lot of what you're saying, when I think about, being a black woman,
come on,
which, I think growing up, I don't have a problem with men paying for things. My dad was a provider for my family's house. He was a man's man. I knew he was the dad. I knew he was the husband. My mother made a lot more money than him a long time, but he was still the man of our house. And so I think that there's a way to handle that without, being,
that's it right here.
so I think that I agree with that. Right. But I know that my mother also was very, very smart, and I knew she wasn't going to she didn't get the promotions and things that she probably deserved at a time where it wasn't so trendy for black women to be, leaders in education.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for us to be teachers. It was okay for her to not the superintendent, right? So when it was her turn to be superintendent, she dealt with a lot. But for me, my mouth is, I have to say too much. That's probably why I'm not, in some of those positions that she's in. But I feel like in the support of my growth, who has been there to promote me and those things has not necessarily been a black man extending himself in a way that would then jeopardize something that he may be working for, right? So, so say I do something crazy, it happens all the time. But if something happened to me professionally, and then I'm looking to a leader that is also my boss, who may be a black male, right? I don't expect him to extend himself to protect me, because he's already fighting to protect himself. And so as long as they keep us in shackles of protecting ourselves over and over and over and over and over and over and again, the reason that a white man is more likely to, in my opinion, to promote a black woman, it's not just that he wants her, but he recognizes her work. And he also recognizes the fact that he can't do his job without her. So if she's pleased, and it could go back to that, taming the family. If she's pleased and continues to work really, really hard. So if she comes in late, she's there early, he can call her to work on certain projects. He's going to pay her to do that. Mm-hmm. And so then what does that do? That then leads to the emasculation of the black man, because now she is the breadwinner. So how she is conditioned in that way. So for me, I had both parents. I was raised, they've been married 40 plus years. So I've seen it work. Mm-hmm. A lot of us have not seen that work. So so money is dangled in front of me, I'm not jumping or changing my tone, because I've seen it already. Mm-hmm. I've seen that the work has to happen in order for this to happen. And you put this in there, you reap what you sow, all those different things. I've learned all those lessons. So I think what has to happen is we have to promote the family.
Right.
We have to promote generational wealth.
That's it.
And the trauma of things that happened in the past are preventing us from doing that. Mm-hmm. So if I want to marry somebody who wants to create generational wealth with me, who doesn't have debt, who comes from a 2-parent home and those things, I don't want to have a bunch of kids and not be married. I don't want to do those different things. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't have kids yet. Well, because I'm not married.
Waiting, right.
Well, the thing is, how can I could probably afford a child. Mm-hmm. That don't mean you should have one.
Right.
And not saying you shouldn't have something, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have to do those things in order to prepare.
Yeah.
In order for us to create the generational wealth, to be able to, for our kids to compete going forward, we have to do those things that might be uncomfortable.
We got to get out of our feelings.
Our counterparts are getting married 23, 24, 25. They're moving into their parents' old house.
And their parents get a new house.
And their parents get a new house. They're not buying a house. They're not going in debt.
Yes.
Because they got to keep up with so-and-so. They don't have a Lexus at 25 and 26. They are driving the Honda or driving their daddy's old truck, and they're getting those things. And then about 35, 36, 37, now we're like, dang, how they got that money? Mm-hmm. And they got 3 kids with money.
Preparation.
But it's just because they've been conditioned to do those things and promote that wealth. And so we don't do that, right? You're less likely to see, you got white families, you mentioned PD area here. They're not marrying people from place X. You don't see Chad, whose dad is a doctor, and so saving the chick from the project. I mean, from the trailer park. That doesn't happen. We do that.
Right.
That's, I mean, I hate that that's that way, but we're talking about being our people's keeper. This is
Right.
the reality of what's happening. That's why we're continuing to spin our wheels. Chad don't go get her. He
Don't
don't
go get
find her parents not meth heads. He found the other girl.
Right.
Her parents are also doctors.
Mm-hmm.
He marries her.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Then their kids play together, and then they get married.
Yeah, that's it. That's the setup.
And then they get trust funds.
Right.
And then we sitting around here like, oh well, I mean, he played basketball.
That's it.
we got to, we have to do.
Again,
we
he can
just
play
have to do better.
basketball and get the contract, but if his mind's if it hasn't been conditioned
It's a condition. It's trauma. Like I said, we have to fight it.
yeah,
It's something that we have to fight. And so when I'm talking to young people, when I'm motivating young people, it's not because I think I'm better or because so and so said this. This is an observation of me being an advocate of social change and growth,
right,
and empowerment.
yeah,
These are just facts. The reality is the people that we're competing with don't have the experiences we have because we continue to set ourselves up in these experiences that are counter to what we think we want or what we're saying that we want.
holla,
Sorry,
holla.
I'm sorry. I talk a lot.
Holla. I'm as the first black man, I'm gonna go ahead and give you this promotion for the speech.
No, but is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I think
100%.
I think it's just a part of where we run into problems.
Holla, that thing just did something to you, didn't it?
And it's sad because she's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part like
Right.
she's right. It's only one thing I won't agree with
Okay.
completely. And that's the white man giving promotion and the black man not.
I think he would. I think the black man would. What I'm saying is it's hard
said-
because he's fighting himself too to stay in his
I think
job.
it's more so fight. I think it's more so the time to fight. So if I have to fight for you being discriminated against, being black and being a black woman, and I'm also looking at my livelihood. I'm also looking at what I'm stepping in. That's a lot. So I get it, but again, are you willing to step up and sacrifice and to protect? I get it. I do.
A lot, and this is about to be crazy.
Come on, holla.
I agree with her, but I believe it's going to go back to women. Watching a lot of black men that's in a position to give another black woman a promotion don't give black women promotion because of their woman.
Oh, so you going
It's
back to that?
crazy.
You going back to the
It's
whole-
crazy, but when you really sit back and look at it, because let's say I'm your boss and I give you a position and a hire, but I could have put John in that position. When I go back home, why you give her that position? What made her so special? Even though you deserved it.
right.
But that's a lot of reasons why a lot of black people don't put themselves in situations like that. And it's sad because
It's sad.
it's
I
true.
think that's probably valid. I can imagine that might happen with some
it's
people.
like
'cause-
it's true, like because white people don't. They're women, like you just said it when you narrowed it. Man, you just
Nailed it,
did
man.
that. White women are more secure in their position.
Absolutely.
So, and when I say secure in their position, I'm not saying a black woman isn't secure with themselves, but if a white woman got a husband, they're secure with their husband's decision. A lot of black women, they feel like their husband is in a powerful position. They feel like all the women want him.
But they would have to be insecure.
That's exactly what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's sad because I know I'm gonna get ate up when they see this.
Come on.
It's just the truth. A lot of black women are scared of powerful black men if they're not powerful. So that's one reason why, like, you're like just this conversation, you're powerful. Your mate will have to either be right where you are or above you. Any man that's under you and where you're at in life gonna be insecure.
So is that why I'm single?
But no,
But it's like it's
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
they're gonna be intimidating.
But-
It's intimidating.
but though, but
That's it.
what I
I see
did
that.
hear from her when, because of the model that she had, I wouldn't be. I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be insecure, because again, when you're talking about what the model that she's given, I know her father being the man of the house, being the dad, and being the husband, because again, there was a respect there, and understand that I can make the woman can make more money, made more money, but that didn't matter. You understand what I'm saying? Because again, we're building something together, and I think that's. Go ahead.
And on that part, I agree completely. It was just something she said
I got
that
you.
would make a man
I got you.
intimidated.
Absolutely.
That's when she said, if she was to get in a relationship, correct me if I'm wrong, they will have to have good credit. Like
Right.
it was just certain stuff like, bro, I'm not gonna get in.
I'm not gonna settle
If you
for- yeah.
there, you go. And like,
See, we don't have to have,
understand
but see, I get what you're saying. 'Cause
I
I
get
think
it.
I've heard this before. And I think my expectations aren't really much.
They're
See,
not.
like, I think they're reasonable, right? But because when I say them, I'm not saying it like, well, we can't do this together, whatever. But I think what happens is when we talk about like a Simone Biles, like her boyfriend is in the NFL or NBA or something.
Mhm.
You know, they've been dating a while, so he's very tall, she's very small. It's very, you know, that's just it works, right? And she's very flexible. Whatever they got going on is fine. So what I'm saying is,
Coach G,
well, I'm sorry.
come on, G.
But what I'm saying is, I think when we talk about security, right, in a Black woman, it wasn't till I was made to feel insecure that I actually understood what that was like as a partner, right? So if I'm dating somebody who makes me feel secure, then I'm going to be secure. You can go and promote
Come on.
everybody, you know, Jaden, Jayla,
And that's
Julie,
right there.
but that's because the man has to make us feel secure in a way that's why it's difficult when you see strong Black women. That's why you see so many people get married later and later, I think too, because men are growing, right? So then you've now established yourself in a way you feel confident coming and having conversations like, oh, well, I saw her on this podcast and she was talking all this crazy talk. Let me go back and read something.
Mhm.
Then eventually time passes and you feel more confident and we can have conversations and those kind of things. And so that pushes the date back a little bit later, right? We're more likely to get secure and grow and learn and those kind of things. And men are more likely to be, what I found with just being single in my 30s, I think, you know, for a man to approach me, it's typically they've taken some time to be like, okay, let me get this together. Now you get the crazy people, they come in out of nowhere and it's just like, well, what was that? But they don't care. They don't have any. They don't have a care in the world though. Those are my favorites to read because I'm just like, you just didn't care. You just threw it out there. But what I'm saying is, I think that is where we come into just getting educated. Read, like you said. Let me go back and read that. I'm speaking from what I know about. There's a certain level of maturity there when you get to that point. It's like, well, I'm speaking from a place of experience. Or now I'm speaking of. She said something that was interesting to me. Let me go before I
Right.
go say something. Let me make sure I
Right.
understand what you're talking about.
Right.
I think we get to that point, and I think there's a support for our people that if we take the time to do those things, that we can have stronger, healthier, happier families where it matters, where our kids can be educated and have access and those things, because it does take a village, and somehow we went away from the village.
And that's exactly where I was trying to
I agree.
come back to. When you were talking about her going to Tokyo
Mhm.
without her family, that has been one of the key components of strength for my family, your family, those that I can definitely hear. You know, it seemed like we have been pulling, and now it's time to try to pull.
We got to get the village
pulling it
back. She's only referring to social media. You know, like so
Right.
when you think about like she's responding to these yahoos on
Mhm.
social media who have opinions about.
Everything.
Like one of my coworkers today was like, well, you know, she knew what she was signing up for. I was like, did you say that out loud? Like, this is not the time. You know, it's a different thing, you know, but I have, I'm going to advocate for my people. That's me.
Yeah.
So until you show me that you wrong, I'm down. Like, you know, Sha'Carri, I'm like, oh, well, y'all not going to talk bad about her because, you know, she's coping.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Right.
you know, so people bring up, you know, Sha'Carri, they bring
Uh-huh.
up Simone, they bring up Naomi.
Uh-huh.
But this has been happening with a lot of Black women just all
Outside
throughout,
of
you
that,
know.
right.
So Asia
Mhm.
Wilson talked about some things she went through and just different things. And I think because we're becoming more vocal, now it's like, well, what's wrong with them?
This ain't nothing
Everybody
wrong
like,
with it.
but that's what, you know,
I know.
because we usually just are conditioned. You know, you think about your mom or grandma growing up and be like, hey, what's wrong? Oh, nothing wrong, child. I'm just,
I'm just hitting you.
I'm just here. I'm resting my eyes. I'm
Mhm.
praying. I'm doing these different things. And that's what gave us that strength instead of saying, you know what, I am anxious about this, or I don't have the money to do this, or I can't do this. And so then when we say it, it's like, well, what's wrong with you? What kind of day you had? Why you, it's like, I was dating a guy. He's like, you seem so negative. I'm not negative. I'm just telling you how I feel, which is
Right.
my reality, which if you can't accept my reality or my ability to be in tune with myself, then we can't be together. So she mentioned mindfulness. You got to be mindful about where you are. I think that's where we challenge. It's a challenge.
You about to say?
For they have been vocal but quiet.
Mhm.
I'm talking about when I was listening to you talking about black women, and when you start forcing how you feel. So we hear them. You always talking. You always talk. How are you talking? But they've been vocal, but still silent.
Mhm.
And so now, as the silence started to break, and I was sharing somebody share with another white counterpart of mine. It was talking about how would your grandmothers feel about Vice President Harris and her morals on what is the thing, abortion and same-sex marriage, all that. I said, well, definitely, she would voice how she feel against that, but as it relates to supporting the success of what black women have been able to come through,
Two different things.
it's two different things.
Yep.
Thanks.
Again, she's been able to navigate through, a male-dominating world, a government, and to be able to come to this point now. So we celebrate that. You can bash me all day with whatever you want to do. I celebrate that because you don't know what it feels like to be for them to be. There was a time when she was coming up that my grandmothers were not able to be vocal at all. They didn't have the right to vote. They didn't have the right to speak up
Right.
and to say what they needed to say. And so now we're at that point. So again, because you never heard us talk, now you feel like we got an attitude and we got a problem.
Right.
It's been there for quite a long time. We've been quiet. Even when we look at what's my movie with my movie about the maids.
Oh,
Mississippi.
The Help.
The Help. Even when we look at that.
Oh, I had a very strange experience with that because I went and I don't particularly like that movie, but I mean, I think I like it.
Right.
But I remember being in a movie theater and I felt like the white people were laughing so hard.
They're laughing harder.
Yeah, and so I was uncomfortable because I was down in the front. I looked back and I'm thinking, was it that funny?
Right.
How is it? Am I missing it? Y'all key, right? I'm like, okay, let me see. Let me make sure I understand what y'all laughing at because y'all laughing at me.
I believe going back to what we said in the beginning, and it's funny that you mentioned it, because of who our vice president is, this is why women should stand up more.
Yeah.
That's the motivation.
I think this is the season. I've said this since.
This is the motivation.
I think for the last in the beginning of 2020, coming into 2021, I said that this is the season of the woman.
They're supposed to. This is it.
This is the season of the woman. And again, if we go back into history and we start talking about traits and start talking about the queens that reigned, you know what I'm saying? If we go back into all of these different segments, I definitely believe that this is a shift, and I think this is the season of the women. I've never, even as a preacher, I hate it. I used to tell all of my sisters, clergy women, girl, you ain't got to do that all the time. Just preach. Don't tell them. I know they come because I'm a woman, and don't do all that. Listen, I know what's in you. All you got to do is display it. And if we get more men that are not insecure about, our women and do what we need to do to help support them, to lift them up, again, for it to be heard and for it to be impactful, then we can really see, the change that we need. But I think, again, that's another topic that I want you guys to come back to, that we'll talk about concerning this generational curse with relationships.
Yep.
The black the relationships, the marriages, dating, and all of that. Because again, you said it, there are three components. If we really sit down, take the time to not only communicate, but to comprehend what the other individual is talking about, to understand, so that then we can move forward to have healthier relationships. Then we can see those not waiting. And again, if you got to in order to grow, then that's cool. But again, just like you said, Chad, them, they get married at the 23s and the 24s and 25 because again, they had a model that was represented. You know, you've had a model. There are a lot of good models out there in the Black community that we have. We just got to be able to display it more so people can see it more. Man, look, I've enjoyed you guys.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts from you, Coach G? Any closing thoughts from you, Holla? We definitely want the Queen to go first.
I'm just going to say thanks for having me. And I'll say I want people to do their research on things. I think one of the things is so disheartening when I'm reading things from people who seem like they should know.
Right.
Or have some empathy, right? So even with the Sha'Carri Richardson thing, I didn't jump out and, you know, oh my gosh, you let the country down because, you know, I'm always like, what country are we talking about here? What are we doing?
Right.
I'm more concerned about the fact that, you know, okay, we got to get this baby around some people who can help. I don't care. You know, it's tough.
I told you.
Is that what you're telling? You know, all I'm saying is people are like, oh, well, she should have known better. Why? How would she have known better? I look at her as a 21-year-old who ran the race of her life. Okay, they don't. I mean, so the people that you surround yourself with, what do they know? It's like when you graduate from high school and you're going off to college and you like, oh, well, they should have asked their mom. Well, their mom didn't go to college. What are you talking about?
Their mom didn't go to college.
So how many of you had somebody around you that was an Olympian to tell you to stop smoking? Nobody.
Right.
So shut up on social media. So my thing is, I just want us as a people to do better supporting each other because we don't support each other. We definitely don't support each other when it actually matters. Like you mentioned Colin Kaepernick, supporting when it matters. Okay. Yeah, let's do it when it matters. Like stop watching the game.
You heard it here.
Stop watching the game.
It's hard. It's hard to watch it. I haven't watched the game.
I'll be honest with you on the whole Richardson situation. I feel like she's getting the punishment she deserved.
Yeah, she didn't go.
She smoked. It is what it is. It's football players who smoke and get suspended. It's a sport. We all know it.
What's his name smoke? And
a couple players. Dallas. I'm a Dallas.
I'm talking about for the. I'm talking, and I got.
I figured you were a Cowboys fan.
I'm a Cowboys fan.
Something about that gave me Cowboy fan vibes. So I was like, stop watching the game.
Like
what's your?
I don't watch the NFL. I mean, I watch the NFL for supporters.
Before you were advocate.
Oh, I like the Steelers, but I usually just cheer for.
Excuse me. Sorry, go ahead. I mean,
well, my point was, when I did watch it, I watched players because I do fantasy football. So
you follow players.
Yeah, I follow players. I mean, so it didn't matter to me when I picked my fantasy team in the beginning, like in August. Then I would be like, I'm watching this game, watching this game, watching this game, watching this game. Right. So anyway, that was when I was doing that. But I did take a step back. And I just think that we just got to pull together and rally for the right causes. Right. I think somehow we get divided. Like I'm like,
divided amongst issues.
Yeah, we get divided about like you mentioned Kamala, BP Kamala. I mean, okay, so you don't agree with her on XYZ, but let's talk about the facts here. Let's stay here, y'all. We start and she's like, oh, first black female vice president, and it's like, oh well, she supports abortion, so I'm over here, and I'm just not black right now. Like, don't do that. Let's come together as people to be each other's keeper. Let's go back to the village.
You heard it here.
Let's just do it so that we can move forward. And they know we cannot do it. That's why they had them boys watching the gun line. But I ain't talking about that.
Oh, gee.
Hop
and Bob, come on. Get out of here.
I just feel like even with her, like you nailed it when you said the people around her.
Yeah.
I grew up where the big homies, the OGs, they're not letting you do certain stuff if you have potential to be great. And I feel like her big homies, her OGs, grandmothers, uncles, aunts, they failed her.
No,
I don't think they failed her. I just think they didn't know. I just think they didn't know.
I'm gonna tell you why. Now, I'm not gonna say they failed her as far as they knew that girl wasn't smoking weed just because her mother died.
Oh no, she gives me smoker vibes.
No, there you go. She's been doing this. This isn't.
That's fine.
This isn't.
It was just the timing was.
But there are a lot of people that got that smoking vibe.
Yeah,
I mean, all these new. I mean, but hookahs and
it's more. We got the hookahs. It's like they're practicing to smoke in every scenery you go in now at that age. And the reason why you're like, you hearing this from, and this is me putting my information out there. You're hearing this from somebody who started gangbanging at the age of 15. I've lost over 50 homies. I've been to more funerals than I've been to graduations. I don't smoke weed. So you see what I'm saying? So, and these were my brothers. These were people I was risking my life with day and night. That's a sad way to say I smoke weed because I cope. No, I can't buy that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Well, no,
I can't
can see
buy.
that.
I can't buy smoking weed. I'm smoking weed because my mother died. Weed is a downer. Liquor is what gets you hype. So
I thought it'd make you sleepy. I'm just
certain people they get too drunk when you get too drunk. But liquor is what heals pain. Liquor
Gotcha.
is what makes you numb.
that alcohol. I got
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
like you pour liquor for your dead homies. You know what I'm saying? So like, why you ain't drink? So when I listen to her situation, it's
Make your
like,
stomach hurt.
but
I don't know. I hear you because I'm, but I do know so many kids smoke now. They're vaping.
Mhm.
And that's another, if you ever have me back, we'll talk about some of those things that they're doing because it's like it becomes a hand mouth concern. Like that's how all addictions, right? So,
and the THC is lower.
and I think with weed, I think people just do it because it's so trendy. She did it in the state that was kind of legal. She didn't.
It's a
I'm
trend.
sure, she
She
could have
didn't
done.
do it because her mother died. Her mother didn't even raise her.
But I think as a part of what she does regularly, I think that's a part of it. So that's why I'm not taking away from it.
But it goes back to the circle.
Yeah, I mean,
circle.
let's go back to the village. So instead of the village tearing her down, immediately it happens like, oh my gosh, now she can't go to the Olympics. It's like, who cares? Y'all ain't get
Let's
paid.
get around.
Let's get around her and get this right.
Yeah.
I think
Let's catch the rest of the athletes who about to go out here and smoke this blunt too.
Right.
We worry about the wrong thing.
Come
it
on.
wouldn't have been such of a big situation if she would have never if they would have never compared it to Michael Phelps.
But
Okay.
that's because we don't do research, and that's why I'm talking.
There you go.
We don't
There you
do
go.
research.
Nobody
Michael
looked at
Phelps.
the history. Like he got caught online. He never tested positive. He got caught in February. The Summer Olympics was in July. He got suspended for 3 months.
Yeah, he didn't get something. And so that's the thing. So she got her punishment, right? But when they didn't pick her for the 4x1, see, when they didn't pick her when she couldn't go, I was already at don't even bother.
Leave it alone.
Leave it
Come
alone.
back.
Because you bring in Olympics, people are going to watch it because of her, right?
Mhm.
People are going to watch it because she's not there too, just to see now what's going to happen. But
Right.
I think we have the power as a people to make these things happen. I think we have the power to say, okay, Shakira, you know what? The village surrounds you. The village says, you know what? You go to the next Olympics
Right.
before they even get a chance to turn you down. You don't have to, as my grandma used to say, pee in my face and tell me it's rain. Just leave it alone.
Right.
Like I'm done. Like, just, you know what? You mess up, baby girl. We're going to get you right.
Gonna get
You
you.
get,
Yeah.
and then, this, don't even let them tell you can't do the 4x1. Don't even worry about it.
Just move on.
Just like Simone, you really don't have to go. Go as a coach.
I'm gonna be
Right.
Let the village support you in that way. But we can't be the village if we're always tearing each other down, and we just have to do a better job of supporting each other. And it starts locally.
Local.
It starts with you, Holla.
And
Holla.
And
Why you gotta call him a hoe? Holla.
I'm gonna believe.
See?
And honestly, and this is the crazy thing about it too. I know you said what country, right?
Hmm.
She's from here. This country is about to be legal in marijuana.
Well, where she was smoking was legal too.
You see what I'm saying? So yes, you couldn't go to the Olympics to be known as the fastest runner, but the money she's gonna get off of endorsements.
Oh yeah, Nike. She already probably made that money.
You see what I'm
back.
saying? Like, hey, take that.
All right,
Come
now,
back.
all right, now how we gonna make sure she manages wealth?
That's what I'm saying. That's the village.
The people around her.
That's the village. We go back.
It's the people around. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
tell you because if I touch that money.
Come on, village.
But that's the village, and I think we just got to do a better job of. We jump to tear people down. We want people to be these fake superheroes, and that's why I made a
She's
post
human.
about that. It's like
She's human.
we jump to turning people into superheroes so fast because we're looking for a superhero as Black people. We're looking for someone to save us all the time, and that is just not reality. We did it to Barack Obama. We did it to
Still
Kamala
not saying.
Harris. That's what we do. So we see somebody,
Yeah.
we saw her, she's running, she fast, she got orange hair. Like, oh, she's our new superhero queen. 2 weeks later, she fell Georgia. It's like, oh no, she let us down. Oh my gosh, she's the worst person ever. Oh my gosh, what about her village? What about her village?
Now that mental.
Now she's, and then
Yeah,
Simone
stressed
Biles is
out.
like, oh my gosh, you're supposed to win on the things because we do this for America, and then you're the best gymnast. It's like we looking for something, but it's inside of us. God prepares us with things inside of us. We're already built with what we have. Our gifts
I
come
didn't know-
out.
I didn't know the woman of God was. I didn't know she was scheduled.
I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
saying.
don't be sorry. No, you're right. And I think
We have it.
We
already.
got it. We have it. We've just got to apply it. That's what you said
Apply
earlier.
it.
Application.
The
Yeah.
application.
Okay.
And so Malcolm X said this, and I'm going to close with this. One of my favorite movies, I guess, because of my reading. But anyway, My Enemies Necessary. I mean, but anyway, he there's a scene where he's at I want to say it's either Yale or speaking at a school, a college, university, and a white girl comes up and said, "How can I help to be a part of this movement? What can I do?" He said, "Nothing." He said, "We must first help ourselves before we can allow anyone else to help us." I am my people's keeper. Am I my sister's keeper?
Mhm.
Am I my brother's keeper?
That's right.
Am I my people's keeper? Yes, I am my brother's keepers. Listen, I thank y'all so much again for joining us tonight. Peace and all that good stuff, man. I love y'all. Hey, I'm gonna bring y'all back again. I hope
Okay.
y'all come back.
Okay.
Again.
Love to be here.
I don't know how much money it's gonna be next time, but we're grateful for it, man. Listen, all of you that are watching, listening, man, share this with someone. Let them know what we're talking about. Hope this encourages you all. You guys have a great, wonderful day. Till next time, peace and a bottle of hair grease.
Am I my brother's keeper, huh? You know what
Bring me
happened.
back next time she come.
It became my people's keeper. A moment of information, impartation, and inspiration to uplift, encourage, and most importantly, empower. So am I my brother's keeper? Yes. Am I my sister's keeper? Yes. Oh yes, I am my people's keeper.